Sawubona mbukeli sesifikile thina khala kathi phakathi nohlelo lithanda kakhulu ilungelo lakho it's your right uyazi ke lona umajali uMangcolosi Alisha igama sengibuyile ngithi kade ninjani kodwa ababukeli bami mbukeli ke abantu abaningi ke sebehlukumezwe phela isimo seCovid ngokwasephaketheni sebethola ukuthi bathole ezinye indlela eziningi zokwenza imali njengokuthi benze ama resignations bogus ukuze bakwazi phela ukuthi bathole izimali zabo kuma pension funds. Lokhu ke kunemphumela emibi kakhulu ngoba uSARS usalibheke ngehlo lokhozi lesisimo. Siza kunina bukhoma mbukeli nansi imininingwane yethu on your screens and to talk to us more about these bogus resignations as well as the associated implications, let's extend a very warm welcome to a pension specialist uOsencheki Molefe from Alexander Forbes. Miss Molefe, thank you so much for joining us. Sakwamukela ohlelweni.
Ngiyabonga ngiyanibingelela nonke emakhaya nawe Majali.
Sakwamukela Ntokazi. Ntokazi mesithi sikhuluma ngama bogus resignations very quickly yini lesikhuluma ngayo ilabantu abaresignayo emsebenzini ukuthi babuyele emsebenzini just to get lawo ma pension funds.
So bogus resignation is when umuntu athatha resign njengoba ushilo akhulumisana kahle necompany ayisebenzelayo bese babe nesivumelano ukuthi uzoresigna artificially ukuthi nje akhona ukuthi athole imali yakhe ye pension fund bese abuyela futhi kuyo leyo company ayiqhubeke asebenze.
Yini ama implications aloko Ntokazi particularly ngomthetho umthetho uyakuvumela yini lokho ukuthi kwenziwe?
So umthetho awuvumeli ukuthi uwenze kanjalo, so the way isebenza ngakhona uzothola ukuthi uSARS zonke ama retirement funds ala eSouth Africa sibuya apply and then iSARS ebapha iexemption. So makuthi ene approval, so makuthi baqhubeka ngokwenza wonke lokhu okungekho emthethweni ama bogus resignations, so uSARS angabuya investigate and mangathola ukuthi ngempela ke into yenzakalayo then uSARS into azoyenza ukuthi uzorevoke ke that exemption azobe ayinikile ke le retirement fund. So into ezoyenzakala ke makangarevoke kusho ukuthi ama contributions lawa owafakayo ngenyanga nenyanga azobe ngeke usakhona ukuthola i-deduction, so i-tax deduction. Njengoba wonke bazi ababukeli ekhaya ukuthi wonke umuntu uyazi ukuthi makuphela the financial year yaka SARS mawusubmit ama returns wakho unokuthola nyana okunye ephaketheni from ama deductions lawo ama contributions.
But Sisincheke, I mean, we've heard about this practice quite a lot, particularly kuma civil and even private industries. How prevalent is this practice? Because we've seen abantu be resign ababuye only to come back as either maybe freelancers or just maybe not in the same position kuleyo company, but still working in the same department or company for that sake.
Yeah. So kulawa ama pension funds that we actually administer. Tina askakayiboni, so it's not as prevalent as it used to be. We're talking about a couple of years back. So khona manje into esesibonayo ukuthi makuthi bayavumelana ukuthi bangakhona nokuthi SARS makenza investigation angikwazi ukuthi ayithole. Most companies into bazobe uthole kubayenza bazoyenza njengoba ubisobekile isiboniso sokuthi bazomqhasha as a freelancer. So no longer, so what that means, then they will no longer have these benefits. So will no longer be a member a retirement fund.
Is it possible ukuthi umuntu resign and then athole pension fund abuye futhi still be permanent employee and still get the same benefits abekayithola before resign Ntokazi?
So ama company especially now siyawabona ukuthi a lot of companies bafakile ama policies ukuthi just to kwenza sure ukuthi they prevent the ukuthi revoke the exemption ya SARS. So what they tend to do is mawukuthi uyaresigna ungasemthethweni just ukuthi khona accessa imali yakho ye retirement fund. So into abazoyenza ukuthi ke bacele ukuthi within makuthi resign within 6 months bese masowubuyela bazocela ukuthi uphinde uyikhokhele ke leyo mali leyo oyewayithatha as a withdrawal.
All right, and then you were talking about SARS lana Ntokazi. I think it's very important ukuthi si understand the role ya SARS kwi pension yomuntu, so that njengoba siza ukuthi kuthiwa if they get to a point where they do an investigation bathola ukuthi there was something bogus lapho, they can even ask you ukuthi ubuyisele leyo mali kade uyinikiwe towards ilokhuzana retirement yakho.
Yebo Majali, lokho iqiniso ke bawungayenzakala utholakale ukuthi uSARS nabaceda ukuinvestigator ukuthi ngempela ke bowenza nje into engekho emthethweni bazokucela ukuthi ubuye ukhokhele leyo mali leyo ebese kuba reinstated as a member yaloyo pension fund as if awuzange wahamba. So lokho ebabhlungu ngalokho ke ukuthi uzobe uni a worse off position than you were before.
But then how does it work then, Sisincheke? Because is it the employee or the employer or initiator this whole process? Ukuthi yazini ngibone ngathi kuzoba ngcono, either maybe kuzokunama retrenchments. We've seen a lot of retrenchments due to COVID and other related issues in this country. Uba no initiator the process. Currently, is it the employer or the employee?
So we depend on ukuthi yini exactly ezobe uyekelani emsebenzini. Ukuthi maybe uyayeka ngoba you have resigned. Then by just handing in your resignation letter, in most cases employer masozohamba uzokunikeza ke i-withdrawal form lo okuzomela uyigcwalise. Kulo withdrawal form uzasho ke isizathu sakho sokuhamba, uzasho ukuthi mhlawumbe yi-resignation ebese uzasho ukuthi ufuna imali yakho bayikhokhele kanjani. Or alternatively, makuguti retrenchment, then it's likely, so the process is very similar. Anguguti, the employer, a company will be initiated that retrenchment process. Kodwa basazokunikeza nabo futhi ilo withdrawal form yokuthi ugcwalise uzobhala ke ukuthi it's a retrenchment, so that i-taxation yakhona ihlukile compared to mawuthi uziresignele.
Yeah, but qhubeka Sisincheke.
Mawukuthi uopta ke ukuthatha imali yakho as a cash lump sum.
Now, you were talking about retrenchment versus resignation. I think it's very important to distinguish between the two. Are you then able to come back, still apply for a position, and then that would mean the whole process, access retirement funds, it was not bogus or illegal in that matter?
Yeah, so it depends on the timing. So what companies normally do, nabazoya through that retrenchment or maybe a restructure.
Yes.
So bazohamba babheke ukuthi yiphi ama positions are available, and then uzo apply even before ufaka ugcwalisa loyo form yakho yi-withdrawal. And then makuguthi ngempela ke uba successfully we occupy that position, and then there's no need ukuthi ugcwalise i-withdrawal, then you continue your employment and you continue being a member ye fund. Kodwa bakungenzakala ukuthi mhlawumbe baya ku retrencher and there is no position for you at that point in time. Then when you actually complete your withdrawal form, ubisi siyakhokhela as a cash lump sum, and at a later stage, then there is something available to company, then it's not seen as a bogus resignation or retrenchment.
Okay, all right. Mbukeli siyathemba kuyazwakala lapho 0117146918, alternatively 0117146919, consumer@sabc.co.za. Siyabuya emva kwaleli khefu. We're back live on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. Yilungelo Lakho with myself, Umajali. 0117146918, 0117146919. Nisho yethu ke Mbukeli, it's 30 minutes. Khona phela nizokwazi ukuthi nibone leya election show before singena. Kodwa nje at the end of this month sizobe sesibuyele back to ischedule yethu. My guest today uSisincheke Molefe oyena ke, she is a retirement consulting specialist, a regional executive wase Alexander Forbes. Uyasitshela ke mhlambe ingozi zokuthi wena uhambe uresign emsebenzini just to get access to i-pension fund yakho bese uyabuya kusasa futhi uzo-employer in that position. Sisincheki, now let's talk about ilokhuzana ama-risks that are inherent in this practice. Who faces the bigger risk? Is it the employer or the employee? Let's say bobabili they felt ukuthi kickstarter the process was going to be beneficial for both the employer and the employee, and then nangu umuntu usebuyile useyasebenza either as a freelancer or as a part-time staff. Like, what are the risks involved for both the employer and the employee in this regard?
Okay, so the risk or challenges that you can see, so it's slightly different. So mawukuthi uyabuya as a freelancer. In that regard, because uzobe angasanawo ama benefits that you enjoy when you are a permanently employed employee. So meaning ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi leso uzobe angasase member ye pension fund. So at that point, then the biggest risk will be with that particular employee because will no longer be saving towards retirement. Mase kufika ke ngesikhathi sokuthi athathe umhlala phansi uzobe angasanayo ke imali, uzomele ke ahambe ayocela nayo imali yakusasa, and sonke siyazi ukuthi imali yesasa yimalini, and mase ubheka yonke ibudget yakho ukuthi mhlambe ungakhona ukuphila ngayo.
Sisincheki, maybe this is an offhanded question, Lana. EUIF, is it then affected by this process esikhuluma ngayo okwamanje, as well as other deductions that we see emholweni womuntu, particularly laba abanelokhuzana that contribute to a retirement fund?
So EUIF, it works slightly different. So makuwukuthi huwe initiated a resignation, then there is no UIF payment ozokhona ukuyithola.
Okay.
Kodwa makungayenzeka ukuthi mhlambe ngoba bekuyi-retrenchment, and in that case there could be something that could be paid by EUIF.
Very interesting indeed. Now, there's still discussions here. I remember I was sitting here doing another show, sikhuluma nama unions, mailana nendaba yokuthi South Africans want partial access to ama pension funds wabo. Now, this is still an ongoing discussion with obviously Treasury nama unions, ukuthi abantu can or can they not access ama lokhuzana ama retirement partial funds zama retirement savings wabo. But is it legal then for abantu to do these resignations, bogus resignations, while this process is still in place?
So while it's still new discussion like it is right now, so it's not legislated. So ayikho emthethweni ukuthi abantu benza ama-bogus resignations. But by the time imase ukuthi i-National Treasury iyabuya ishilo ukuthi izofaka ama-formal proposals by the time kuza i-midterm budget speech manje ngoNovember, but because of ama-complexities kungayenzakala ukuthi mhlambe siwathole as early as next year. So in that sense, only once it's legislated kuzoba emthethweni ukuthi umuntu angakhona uku-accessa limited benefits from retirement.
And then let's expand on that. I mean, there must be a lot of confusion for abantu Osincheka, and I'm sure you're getting inundated with questions of abantu beti bafuna ukwazi ukuthi how they can access partial funds zelokhuzana ze-retirement. Of course, with this processing unfold while it's still in discussions. But let's talk about labantu that really cannot see any other way either than to resign, and then hlampe employer izothi okay hlampe ungabuya as a part-time or freelance staff, bese kungenzeki lokho kanti ke there was already an agreement. What are the legal implications kuleyo agreement? Like, does it hold any water because that agreement would have been between the employer and the employee initially?
So in most cases, when that happens, there is nothing written because the employer would know it's not necessarily something that is legal.
Yes.
So that could be more of a gentleman's agreement, or mhlawumbe ungasho ukuthi a verbal agreement. So if the employee maseke ukuthi sakafuna ukubuya ke employee bese athola ukuthi akasanawo umsebenzi mhlawumbe abasamqhashi back, in that instance it's going to be very difficult to prove ukuthi there was such an agreement to begin with.
Let's expand on that. Kanti lento ngempela, is it umthetho uyibona kanjani Osincheki? Like, does it see it as a legal move, or it's just not prosecutable if it's like what you've just said, a gentleman's agreement ukuthi both parties bangene kule agreement in good faith basically?
Yeah. So it's dependent on a number of factors. that agreement, how it was put in place, and nokuthi bavumelane ngani, because angithi employer before enter into any agreement izochecka ukuthi yini ekusemthethweni and yini okungekho emthethweni. Mayazi ukuthi for instance it's a bogus resignation, so meaning ukuthi you are artificially resigning just to access your retirement benefit. In that instance iyazi ukuthi ayikho emthethweni, and then it will never stand, it will not hold any water noma ungayihambisa.
So laba bantu laba, yes, carry on, Osinjeki, go on.
Okay, so bengisasho ukuthi mhlambe makungayenzakala ukuthi maybe the agreement was slightly different, so it's a contractual agreement ukuthi ngiyayekela as a permanent employee mhlambe namhlanje, but in the next 3 months uzobuya ungiqashe and there is a contract in place. In that instance, then that contract will stand.
All right, okay. Let's leave it there for now. Mbukeli ngiphinde futhi ngikukhumbuza ukuthi show yethu wonke ama-shows wethu ngalesikhathi ke ahlunqishisiwe isikhathi ukuze senze show ukuthi nibona kahle zonke izinto as we lead on to the election. Siyabuya khona manje emva kwaleli khefu, ungayindawo nazi number on the screen 0117146918 or 71469119 consumer@sabc.co.za. We're back shortly after this. Mbukeli, welcome back to Yilungelo Lakho live on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. The shorter version eqala ngo5 iphume ngo1/2. Mbukeli 0117146918 or 71469119 consumer@sabc.co.za. My guest today Osinjeki Molefe yenake. She's a regional executive here retirement consulting lapha Alexander Forbes. Uyasitshela ukuthi iziphi imincindelo uma wena ukuthi uyaresign ngoba ufuna ukuthi ufake lezo zandla zakhe, hey thanda imali kwi-pension fund yakho bese uyabuya ke uzolokhu uzocela imali. Osinjeki, but maybe what are some of the warnings that you can give abantu that are considering this route, even though hlampe abanye they've already got a written agreement ne employer yakhe? I mean, what stands out for me the most today is that you said leyonto, even though the company knows ukuthi if ngempela ingaphenywa kuzotholakala ukuthi as in there's nothing legally binding them ukuthi baqashe back emsebenzini as they had promised before.
Yeah, so the biggest challenge or the biggest risk for wena as an employee mawukuthi you enter into that agreement ukuthi makungenzakala ukuthi angasaqhashi, in fact you'll be in a worse off position because now you'll be unemployed and you would have used all your retirement saving. So, and I mean, in that instance, I mean, we've seen unemployment numbers, kakhulu kubasha bethu, ukuthi kunzima kangakanani ukuthi uqhashwe futhi uthole umsebenzi.
And what would you advise people in terms of ukuthi bafuna ukucabanga ukuthi bathathe le route yokuthi bona they'd rather resign and bathole imali and then whatever happens ikusasa sizobona khona?
So my biggest advice ukuthi abantu must actually speak to financial advisors noma retirement benefit counselors. So financial advisors are always available, and it doesn't matter ukuthi mhlambe unemali ukabanga ukuthi urichi or mhlambe or ucabanga ukuthi lo izambanele kapondo or mhlambe ucabanga ukuthi unayo noma cha awunayo. So everyone unayo financial advisor, and the nice thing about financial advisor now counselors or retirement benefit ukuthi then sabayaqala ke bayancedisa ukuthi uphume out of the crisis ozobe ukuyo makuthi mhlambe unikweleti eziningi. Masophumile with the crisis, then you come up with proper plans where you can distinguish ukuthi mhlambe manje sozoqala ubeke imali for emergencies, like we have seen the biggest need right now, especially after COVID.
Absolutely. Okay, Mantsheki, let's quickly take uDumsani all the way in Mpumalanga on the line. Dumsani, ngakwamukela nsizwa, singakusiza kanjani namhlanje? Usedrophile yini uDumsani? Dumsani, are you still with us? All right, Dumsani is no longer there. All right, maybe just in closing, as umuntu Sisinjeki odila nalezinto on a day-to-day basis. What do you then advise your clients, particularly laba abayibone ngathi imsebenzi yabo, I mean, it's at risk, so they'd rather take the plunge to say, you know what, let me take my chances ukuthi ngikhiphe imali yami, ngiresign, and then ngizobona ukuthi ngenzani ngayo. Maybe I'll start a business, so bona ukuthi economy izoshintsha in the near future or not. Would you then advise them to go that route? Are there people that are able to take that route as a first call of preference? Kuyenzeka lokho?
So a lot of people baza bathi, you know, they are in a very sticky situation, and sticky situation mhlambe makwenzakala ukuthi they're uncertain ukuthi mhlambe i-company ingaba retrench noma cha. So in those instances we always say ukuthi mhlambe ima ngoba you would find ukuthi after maybe the restructure then umsebenzi wakho ungathola ukuthi usafe. And the reason we always encourage people to stay employed is solely because they're able to, number one, earn a salary, and most importantly, also get other benefits that are associated with it. And amongst those benefits is into ezifana nabo medical aid, to save for a pension fund, and in some instances, amanye companies anayo futhi a small kitty or as a tax savings vehicles.
And then we advise yakho to hlampa company that have been doing this thing abakuzwile namhlanje uthi this thing is not necessarily legal or whatever. Ungathini kubona if they were allowing staff ukuthi size so with resign sihambe bese siyabu, or with the promise or intent yokuthi babuye bazo withdraw bazolokhuza bazosebenza in that company?
So advice yami to companies ukuthi this is an illegal process, and makungayenzakala ukuthi mhlawumbe uSARS azazoyenza uphenyo and find them ukuthi actually they are guilty of it, then the exemption for a retirement fund will be taken. Lento leyo ito ukuthi and then yonke ilona ima-contributions akhokhelwayo, there will be no tax deduction for wona. And also any investment return abayenzayo, angithi sonke siyazi ukuthi mawubeka imali uya investor so that izokwazi ukukhula.
Yes.
So yonke leyo mali leyo izobe in a tax kuyo. So meaning that uzobe upunisha wonke umuntu kuleyo retirement fund and not just that particular individual.
Ms. Molefe, thank you so much for your time and insight this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, uOsincheki Molefe we-Alexander Forbes lapho esixwayisa ngempela niyezwa mbukeli ukuthi this thing is actually illegal. Niyaxwayiswa ngempela ukuthi nibe considerate, like consider wonke ama-options wakho before you go kule route because uzoyithola usengxakini. Mbukeli, that's where we leave it for today's episode. Ngiyabuya next week ngitheni ngikhumbule live here on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. From myself, uNonhlanhla wakajali and the team, ngithi nisale kahle nibheka amalungelo enu. Bye bye.